It takes a lot of willingness to punish yourself to find solitude in the mountains. And I'm willing to do that, but it's not for everyone. I'm deep in the British Columbia backcountry today. I'll be spending the next 3 days camping and exploring the area. My home base is going to be a beautiful lake up in the mountains above this logging road. But first I have to get there. It's a pretty rough hike through some thick bush and then a long steep climb up a rocky slope to get to this lake. And the mosquitoes are absolutely horrendous today, so I need to keep moving. Oh, there's bugs. Brutal. This hike is accessed by a long walk down this old deactivated logging road, and then there's no actual trail. It just goes straight into the bush and then up the mountain to get to the lake. These boulder fields can be a little bit treacherous. Every once in a while I step on a boulder and it rolls a little bit. So I have to step very carefully. If you've ever seen the movie 127 Hours, it's about a guy named Aaron Ralston who goes hiking, and he's hiking alone and he steps on a boulder that rolls on him and it ends up pinning his arm and he has to cut off his own arm to escape. I'm sure most people have seen that movie. Anyway, yeah, these boulder fields, you have to be very careful how you step because you don't want to tip a boulder over on top of yourself. Look at this place. It's so beautiful. That waterfall right there spills out of the lake that I'll be camping at tonight. Here's my beautiful lake. Just look at that blue. This place is incredible. The lake drains out of this little channel right here, and then it forms that beautiful waterfall farther down the mountain. It's quite unique. I don't think I've ever seen something like that before, where there's a very defined place where a lake drains, and then as it tumbles down the mountain, it turns into this incredible waterfall. Oh. This is a great water source right here. There are two large mountains above me, and as the snow melts off those mountains, it collects in a pond. And then the pond soaks through the ground, gets filtered through gravel and rock, and comes out right here as a creek of clean, fresh drinking water. Man, these bugs. These are some of the worst bugs I've ever experienced. It's just brutal. Ah! Horsefly. Oh man. On a typical day in your life, what's the longest amount of time you can go without looking at your phone? 10 minutes? 15 minutes? How does it make you feel when you have this constant urge to look at it, just to see if you've missed something? Did you miss something? Was it important? Probably not. So why do you keep doing that? What's so interesting on there? Do you think this is a healthy way to be living your life? To give in to that urge every few minutes? Or is it like eating a piece of candy? It's there, then it's gone. It was satisfying for a second, and now you have nothing to show for it. There's a part of the human brain called the prefrontal cortex. The prefrontal cortex is responsible for the higher level functioning of the human brain. If you decide not to eat that second piece of chocolate cake, if you are working towards a goal and setting out a plan to reach that goal, this is all thanks to the prefrontal cortex. Every time you mindlessly pick up your phone, you're not using the higher functioning part of your brain. You're using the lizard brain, the part of the brain that wants instant satisfaction. My plan for today is to do some scouting for a trip I have planned later this summer. I'm planning a longer trip somewhere around here, and I noticed this place on the map that looks quite promising for an extended trip. It's a ridge not too far from here that has a bunch of lakes around it. It looks like quite a beautiful spot. I've never been there before. I'm not sure what the access is going to be like, but I basically have to hike all the way back down to the road I came in on, and then find my way to this ridge and then climb the ridge and see if it's worth coming back for a longer trip. So that should take me probably all day. If I have time, I might climb one of the peaks in the area too and do some swimming in the lakes and just enjoy being here on my own. This is great. These open-ended days of exploring in the mountains just make me feel so free and joyful. It's a wonderful way to spend a few days alone. When do you feel the most like yourself? For me, it's when I'm alone in the mountains on a camping trip. When I'm alone in the mountains on a solo camping trip, I'm at the mercy of nature, of course. But I'm also relying on my own experience, my own ingenuity, to ensure that I'm safe and that I'm having a good time. And I just find this so satisfying. It's just such a meaningful way for me to spend my time, to test my physical skills and my knowledge of how to be safe in the mountains. As much as I love making these camping videos, I have somewhat conflicted feelings about doing the filming. Because when I'm setting up my camera, composing the shot, walking through the frame, all those kinds of things, it can take me out of the immediate experience of being in nature. So as much as I find it very creatively satisfying to make these videos, I find it can sometimes get in the way of the feeling I'm looking for when I'm in the mountains, which is complete immersion in nature. Ugh. 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 Whew. That bushwhacking sucks. Oh man. Okay, so change of plans. After all that horrible bushwhacking, I made it to the road, and then I looked across the valley, which is where I need to get to scout out this other hike. And to get there, it's a lot more bushwhacking down a very steep slope, through a river at the bottom, and then up another steep slope to get to the other spur on this road, which leads to the other trail I want to look at. Anyway, very complicated way to get there. Not pleasant at all. I could walk back to my car and drive along the road to get there, but it's kind of a long walk back to my car, and I don't really feel like doing that. So I'm going to go back up where I came from and climb one of the mountain peaks, I think. Sometimes things don't work out the way you want to when you're backcountry camping. I've decided to attempt to climb the mountain here. It's quite steep, but I'm climbing up a debris slope right now. And there are a lot of big rocks to step on, so I have to be careful about where I step, obviously, because of loose rocks, but seems doable. So this is about as high as I can get on the mountain. Getting all the way to the peak looks pretty treacherous, and I'm by myself, so I'm not going to take any stupid chances and injure myself. I feel like if I was ever to die or get badly injured on one of these camping trips, it'd be up here in the upper alpine. Camping down in the grassy meadows just feels very cozy and friendly, but up here in the upper alpine, where it's all just rock, it just feels cold and impersonal. It's literally the Earth's crust here. So it's got this kind of scary feel to it. Every time I come up this high on a mountain, I always feel a little bit uneasy. There's something about the highest reaches of the alpine that just kind of scares me a little bit. That was a ptarmigan. Ptarmigans are birds that live in the high alpine. It's always nice to see one on a hike. It's got its summer colors. In the winter, they turn all white. I had a comment recently on one of my videos from someone who lives in the UK. He told me that I'm very lucky to live in Canada, where we have space. Space to be alone in the mountains if that's what we choose. Because he told me it's just so crowded in the UK that it's hard for him to find solitude in nature. And I think he's absolutely right. I do feel very grateful to live in this big, beautiful country. Something like 80% of the Canadian population lives within 100 miles of the US border. And the rest of the country is space, lots of space. So I feel very lucky that I'm able to access this space and spend time alone in these beautiful places. It's so important to me. It's true that in Canada, we have a lot of space to explore. But to find true wilderness, you really have to put a lot of work into it. It's not as simple as just driving outside the city and having a beautiful hiking trail all to yourself. If you want to enjoy these places alone, you really have to put the work in. Because Canada is a huge, beautiful country, but it's also very touristy. So if you're the kind of person like me who wants to enjoy these places by yourself and not share them with other people, you have to be willing to do a lot of research and study maps and really figure out the best places to go where you're not going to see other people. You have to be willing to beat the shit out of your car, beat the shit out of your body to find these places that are really off the beaten track. It takes a lot of willingness to punish yourself to find solitude in the mountains. And I'm willing to do that, but it's not for everyone. Most people want to do something that's easy, and they get their ideas from social media and other people who have done easy touristy things, and that's fine. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. You know, that's a nice way to sort of dip your toe into the wilderness areas of Canada, but it's not the way that I like to experience nature. I like to experience raw nature on my own, doing really difficult things. I just find that to be the most satisfying way to experience nature. Most people are not willing to suffer the way that I'm willing to suffer to be able to have these kinds of places to myself. Good morning. Just making my coffee. The best part of the day, right? When I stepped out of the tent this morning, there were no mosquitoes at first, and I had this brief hope that maybe they had all died overnight. But they found me pretty quick, so no such luck. If you've watched this far into the video, thank you. I really enjoy making these camping videos. It's nice to share these experiences with other people. This has been a great couple of days in the British Columbia mountains. But I have a long hike out of here, so I better get packed up. Thanks for watching.